Fun fact about me, I had a YouTube channel as a child called Kids Cook Weekly, but I did light my ceiling on fire, rest assured. Hey, my name is Al, and this is going to be my attempt at making an incredibly nothing burger get to know me video because I just feel like I have to get that out of the way before I start making the content I actually want to make so that I can say that I have posted something and also get a hang of editing and talking to a camera, which I am notoriously not good at for someone who decided randomly on a Wednesday that they wanted to start a YouTube channel. So first random facts about me, I am 20 years old, I live in Canada. I am in my 4th year of university completing my bachelor's degree with a major in English and a minor in drama. I'm gonna go down a list that I have open on my iPad next to me because I am really bad at this. So first and foremost, I am a cosplayer. It's pretty cool, I kind of love it. That's what the majority of this channel is going to be, is cosplay, because that's what takes up about 80 to 90% of my life at any given time. So I thought I would go through my last cosplay, my next cosplay, and my top plans. The first cosplay I ever did was, I think, Bill Cipher, and it was really bad, naturally, because it was 2020. And I was like 16. I think it was Bill Cipher. And then like the first like real cosplay I ever did was Mira Shards from Ever After High, because I know ball. But fast forwarding way into the now, the last cosplay I did was Alice in Wonderland, but very specifically a statue of her that I saw, like one of the like mini statues that I saw of her at a mall store. And I was like, I'm in love with you, I need to make you. So I'm gonna put a photo of it here if I can figure out how to do that. And I actually had been working on this costume for about a year, and I just won my first award. Well, that's a lie. I won my first award with this specific Alice, but it was my second ever award as a cosplayer, as a competitive cosplayer. And my first ever award as a competitive cosplayer was also for Alice, but it was for my original Alice in Wonderland cosplay. So I'll put photos of both of those up here. My next cosplay is Rosalina from Super Mario Tennis. I'm gonna admit I don't know jack shit about Super Mario, but the costume was cute, and my lovely friend is flying to my city to do a competition with me as Rosalina and Peach. I'm also making Rosalina's actual dress. I made it a bit before, it was rough. I'm remaking it now, and I'm very excited about it. But that'll be my competition piece for August. Upcoming cosplays that I have, I guess I've already started that, but I'm working on Rosalina, and then I have a bunch of random costumes that I'm gonna work on here and there. So Rosalina, I'm making the live action Cinderella dress. I've got Briar Rose, I've got Ariel, I've got Katniss Everdeen, but my design of the book, because I think the movie did a really shit job at the fire dress, and I think I could do better. Contact with, moving sort of away from cosplay, I'm also a volunteer party princess, which is basically I am one of the executive members of a charity organization that allows cosplayers to be party performers at like big charity events and like community events and occasionally birthday parties, just to give back to our community with the costumes that we already have and put a lot of love into. I love it so much. My top 3 characters that I play are, to nobody's surprise, Elsa, Elena of Avalor, and Glinda, and occasionally Alice if we want to throw her in there sometimes. And I do Spider-Gwen mostly because it's really hard to compete with the spiders. If Spider-Man's there, you're kind of burnt toast. I'm also a hardcore reader. I have a Bookstagram account that I've had for 8 years of my life, which is a weird thought. To say that I read a lot now would be a lie. To say that I read a lot in high school and middle school would not be a lie. But my current read is Gods in Comics, which I got as an ARC from Penguin Teen and then subsequently forgot to read. So I'm working on it now. My last read was called A Song in the Dark, which I'm going to try and pop up photos of these. My last read was called A Song in the Dark, which was another arc I got from Penguin Teen and subsequently forgot to read. I'm doing my best. I had surgery last month and completely forgot that books were a thing. My TBR is all back here. It's longer than I'd like to admit, but I'm really enjoying Gods and Comics, and I really, really liked A Song in the Dark. I've already posted my review to that on Instagram. I thought it was fantastic. My next read is either going to be Women Eating or Big Swiss. My godmother bought me Big Swiss for Christmas, and I am so excited to read it, but also, like, I have so many other things to read. And, oh, don't close, please. Women Eating, I'm really excited to read because I am on a mission to consume as much vampire-related media as physically possible in 2026. Favorites. My favorite books are This Is How You Lose a Time War by Max Gladstone and Amala Mutar. It's one of the best books I've ever read. It's like only 200 pages, so it's really not that much of a commitment, but you will sob, you will cry if you're me. My next favorite book is Gideon the Ninth, which, everyone and their mom loves Gideon the Ninth now, and it makes me so happy because, like, I had no fucking clue what this book was in 2024, and a bunch of my cosplay friends were like, happy birthday, read this book about space lesbian necromancers. And I was like, first of all, what the fuck? Second of all, I'm sold. And I started reading the trilogy, and without finishing it, there's Electos coming out soon, and there will be 4, but right now it is a trilogy in my heart. Electo's coming out soon. Electro doesn't have a confirmed release date, I'm just delusional. Within, like, a month of reading the first book, I'd already made a cos plan for it, and it was a character that wasn't in book 1 or 2. But my friends were like, oh, you should cosplay Nona. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll look at a photo of her and start putting together cosplay for her. I finished Nona the Ninth the evening before the convention in which I cosplayed her. And it was so much fun. I did not know shit about what was going on. But I was really here for it. It was a blast. I met some of my favorite people through that cosplay meet, so slay. I have also since cosplayed Harrowhark, which, guys, I could spend this entire video talking about the Lock Tomb I fear. My last favorite book to move us forward is an absolutely remarkable, I keep looking at my bookshelf, which you guys can't see, An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green, which is one of the books that reignited my love of reading, and I think it is one of the most beautiful duologies I've ever read, and I recommend it to everyone. And I wrote English major underneath books on my iPad screen is music. I really like music. I go to concerts as much as possible, which is not often. More than the average person, but not often because nobody comes where I live, but that's okay. My favorite singers are probably Conan Gray, Maisie Peters, Hozier, Noah Kahan, and Sabrina Carpenter, Chapel Roan. I like pop girlies, but I also like Hozier. Like, he's just, like, there. I've seen Hozier in concert twice. Best days of my life. I spent scholarship money on going to see Hozier in concert because I thought, oh, he'll never come to my city. And 2 days after that concert, he announced that he was coming to my city. I've seen Maisie Peters once. I've seen Conan Gray twice. Maisie Peters came to my city, and that was crazy, and I didn't really know who she was, but now I am on the train. Her new album just came out. I really like Olivia Rodrigo. I don't know. I can't really give myself a favorite artist except for Hozier because I'm just like, I love them all. I like shuffling music. I curate my playlist based off of the cosplays that I'm wearing or the books that I'm reading or the book that I'm writing. So that's kind of everything. Movies, I just caught a glimpse of my shelf and I was like, how do I say I don't have a favorite movie? My favorite movie is The Batman. But we'll get into that after. My other favorite movies are probably Wicked and Luca. I don't know, you can't call me, I'm not a cinephile. I find cinephiles annoying for the most part, because art in general is so fucking subjective that it's like, oh, there's no such thing as a really good movie. I really like horror movies, but if I'm talking about favorite movies, I don't put horror movies in that category because I find I have to separate them. Like, my favorite horror movies Worst horror movie I've ever seen? Probably Weapons, or I just watched Obsession, and then I immediately went on Letterboxd, and everybody was glazing it, and it was so bad. And like, I'm so happy for anyone who enjoyed it, because art, as I just said, is subjective, because I hated it so much, and I felt bad about hating it, because my twin sister was so excited, and she called me and she's like, did you like it? And I was like, no, but I'm happy you did. Weapons was the same experience for me. Weapons was really bad, and I felt like there was like a communal psychosis happening, where everyone else was like, Weapons was so good, and I was like, no, it was not, but okay. Best horror movie I've seen recently, I watched Undertone, and this is the reverse of that, because I went on Letterboxd and everybody hated Undertone, and I left Undertone with a pit of dread in my stomach I haven't felt since I was 13 years old. So I think mission accomplished for Undertone. It was really good. My favorite horror movies, though, like classic, would probably have to be Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street. I like Scream, but not so much anymore. I also separate horror movies based off like classics and moderns. My favorite like modern horror movies are probably Bodies, 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 and X and Pearl. I really like those ones. I actually haven't seen Maxine yet, so that's kind of my fault. Anyways, The Substance. My camera is explicitly tilted so that you can't see that poster that I'm pointing at, but The Substance, my favorite horror movie. I have cosplayed Sue. You can't see that poster because there is naked women in it. Moving on, because I could talk about movies for a really long time too. My favorite TV shows. I only learned I'm not a sitcom person. I'm watching Abbott Elementary right now, but like, I like Abbott, but I don't like a single other sitcom that I've tried. Shows I just finished, and by just finished, I mean the day I am filming this, probably not the day I'm posting it, but the day I am filming this, The Testaments season 1 finale just came out, and I love that show. I've never seen The Handmaid's Tale, nor have I read either of the books, but I am now watching The Handmaid's Tale. I think that if you were to do what I'm doing, you should just flip and watch Handmaid's Tale, then Testaments. Shocker, watch the things in the chronological order of the text. But to be honest, I was a lot more interested in Testaments than I was The Handmaid's Tale, so I just didn't want to wait. 911 is my favorite show. The new season, justice for Bobby Nash, but like, and I say this, and I need to plant my flag in the ground for a second. We need to sidebar, and I need to plant my flag in the ground. I have been a 911 fan since the day it came out. The day the first episode aired, I watched it with my family. Yes, I was maybe a little bit too young to be doing that, but I watched that show with my family. Season 2, first episode of season 2 aired, and I said, and I quote, childhood me said, oh, those two are gonna date. Eddie Diaz and Evan Buckley. So, this is not a new train for me. I'm planting my flag. This is not a new train for me. I have been a buddy shipper since day one. I also love Lone Star. Lone Star is really good. I will not be watching Nashville. I watched half an episode of Nashville to get my buddy fix. Severance. I love Severance. Severance is so good. I need season 2 stat. I will be cosplaying Helly at some point. Anyways, moving on to comics, I guess. I am a huge comic fan. I'm not sure if you can tell. That's my Robin, pointing at the wrong side. That's my Robin frame. And that's my this entire side of my wall is photos of my favorite DC character, who's not very popular, but she's popular to me. My favorite, like, superhero, if you were to ask, like, if a non-comic book fan was to ask me who my favorite superhero was, I would say Batman. Batman is, like, the one comic I read consistently. I own, like, most of my comic collection is Batman comics. I really like Batman. And we're gonna leave it at that. No, we're not. I really like Batman. My favorite DC is Batman. Shocker. My favorite Marvel is West Coast Avengers or Gwenpool in general, but I don't read much else aside from that. I used to, but to be honest, now I just have zero interest in it. I have tried, but I find that Marvel comics tend to be a bit redundant and boring and occasionally a little creepy. DC is not exempt from that, but I have found that they're tending to get a little bit better in the comics department than Marvel recently. My favorite Batman is Fear State and the Joker War, though I'm trying not to swear too much, though I flippin' hate Tom King. And Tom King set us up for a lot of failure with City of Bane, but I really admire what Tynion managed to make out of Tom King's mistakes. I'm gonna get a lot of flack for that if anyone ever sees this. But that's fine. I stand on my opinions. I am 5 comics away from owning every Fear State comic and tie-in in publication. I'm very excited about that. That has been a 4 years in the making collection. I'm currently reading Matt Fraction's new Batman run, and I love it. I'm very excited about it, and I know that a lot of people are not, but I'm very excited about it. My favorite Robin is Tim Drake, so I'm really stoked about the arc they're taking him down. Even though he's not Robin anymore, I'm very excited about the arc they're taking him down. My favorite if you were to ask me my favorite niche Batman character, I would say Punchline, who is all over my walls, which is how I can say she's not really niche anymore, but she used to be. Punchline, the child of Alexis K, was triple platinum in my household. Punchline, the Gotham game, was mid. I wanted to like it, but I feel like there's something very about taking an antagonist that can go hand to hand with Batman and then passing her to Harper Row and having her lose to Harper Row afterward. Like, this girl almost murked Batman, and we're like, yeah, no, Bluebird can take her. No, Bluebird cannot take her. If you were to ask me my real niche Batman character, it's Miracle Molly. And me and the two other Miracle Molly stands, I own almost every single Miracle Molly variant cover I have been able to find, except for the ones that are over $100, because do I look like I can spend $100 on a comic cover? But Miracle Molly is one of the coolest characters I've ever seen, and I could maybe do an entire video on her one day if comics become a thing I talk about frequently on this page, but it probably won't be. So moving on, I really like Paper Girls. I found Paper Girls through the show, not through the comic, and then I read the comic and I was like, holy shit. The comics are amazing, the show was amazing, and I'm not over Prime for canceling it, but 'tis the curse of lesbianism. I love Paper Girls. I just read Eat the Rich, and that was a cute little series. House of Slaughter, and Something is Killing the Children are some of my favorite horror comics of all time. And I'm very excited about the show and the movie. And then I think next to me I have the original publications of Fantastic Four, which my professor has lent to me, and I'm going to try and read before we start our independent study next semester. Our independent study is not correlated to Fantastic Four. Our independent study is about Batman. However, he did say that I should read that, so I'm going to. He's also lent me Nimona, so I'm going to try and get through Nimona, because he was very shocked to find that I, a lesbian of my stature, has not read Nimona. I apologize. Apparently that was controversial. And I have the new Gotham City Sirens run sitting next to me. Guys, I talked about books, and I didn't mention Shadowhunters. One thing about me is that I never got over my middle school favorite novel, and that was Shadowhunters. I love Shadowhunters so hard that I was bullied for it in middle school. But trust that I'm pointing to my bookshelf as if you can see it, but trust that Shadowhunters, triple platinum for me, like quadruple platinum. I don't know what comes after quadruple, but quadruple platinum in my household. I don't own all the books yet because I'm on a mission to thrift all of the books, but trust that I will soon. The last Shadowhunters coming out soon. I'm so excited. Maybe I'll do a YouTube video rereading all the Shadowhunters books and updating my thoughts now that I'm not in middle school. Potential content idea. I'm gonna do a quick one-off of video games. I do like video games. You'll never catch me playing a video game. I like watching playthroughs. Five Nights at Freddy's, and then previously aforementioned, I don't actually like Mario. I like the lore. I don't give two flying about the games because I don't like playing games. I tried to play Bendy and the Ink Machine, and I never got past like the Mega Boris episode level. I played Five Nights at Freddy's with all of the cheats on, and it was great. My twin sister is a huge gamer. I like Sonic by extension of my twin sister liking Sonic. Shadow is her favorite character, so Tails is mine. I have a little shelf dedicated to Tails. That's about it. Last but certainly not least is Disney. As I am filming this, I am exactly a year past working my Disney college program. Well, I did the Disney Cultural Exchange program, which is a summer exchange program for international folks to come work at Disney. I was a PhotoPass photographer, which was really cool. And actually is what started me on my photography journey. I am now a freelance photographer here in my city, and it's so fun. Disney has played a huge role in my life for as long as I can remember, and it is a long-term goal of mine to end up working there again in a slightly different context, but I would love to work in any of the parks again. Like, my favorite Disney movie is Sleeping Beauty, just because she's been my princess since I was a kiddo, but my favorite show of Disney's, like, princess-wise, is Elena of Avalor. She's very dear to me. I love Elena. Me and the 3 other Elena fans she's so dear to me. So my favorite park would be Disney World over Disneyland, but then my favorite park in Disney World would have to be Magic Kingdom because that was my home park, but very, very close second would have to be Hollywood Studios because the Hollywood Tower of Terror is my favorite ride. My hot take is that Tron is not all that, and definitely not worth the wait, but Cosmic Rewind is. My favorite show is Fantasmic. I love Fantasmic. I think I dream of being in that show. It is so cool. And my favorite snack is Dole Whip, which is really boring, but I really like Dole Whip. And that is the end of all of the things that I wrote down to tell you guys. I have a little list of potential videos to make, so I'm gonna try and do a cosplay unhauling video soon, which is going to be me trying on and deciding what costumes I want to part with. And then I'm gonna do a week of cosplay as a charity cosplayer, so that'll be like getting ready with me for all of the charity events that I'm going to do next week, because we are swinging into busy season. So a little sneak peek of that is I'm going to be wearing Alice, Spider-Gwen twice, and then Elena Bowler. After that, I have at the end of next month, there's a convention in my city, so I'm going to be doing a convention vlog, hopefully, if I remember and don't chicken out. And then I'm going to do a little video about remaking a costume with me as I upgrade Rosalina. I was going to do a video making my current Rosalina, but I forgot. And then I was thinking I could do a bunch of, if you guys are interested, break it downs on different aspects of competitive cosplay. I'm a journeyman level cosplayer, hopefully master soon. But yeah, thanks for yapping with me. I hope that was the world's most boring podcast you've ever listened to, except you got the added bonus of looking at my face and all of the weird faces I make while I talk, and also forget to make eye contact with the camera. If you're curious to see if I can make actually good content one day, maybe like, comment, subscribe, I don't know.